Now, it's just about time to break things down for you to understand what's actually happening between Morocco and South Africa. And it's always the man, Edwin Kwakofi, joining us with... Edwin, I mean, it was the three of us yesterday when we were watching. It was. And producing, giving the listeners a commentary of this particular game, Morocco taking on South Africa. But what have you got for us today?
Look, Gabi, it was a very exciting second half. Lots of chances for Morocco and South Africa as well. But the first half was very cagey, was very tepid. I think the two teams were trying to feel each other out. Yeah. So they were a little hesitant in moving forward and attacking. So I think we remember that the first half, both teams' XG was under 1.
It was low, yeah.
It was very low, under 1. But there were a couple of moments in the game where both sides could have had clear-cut chances if they had, taken their time to process, survey the area, and make a few changes to their moves. The first one in the first half for South Africa.
So this for South Africa?
This for South Africa in the first half.
Okay, the first half.
Mokoena obviously scored a wonderful goal in the second half, the free kick. So he's definitely proficient from long range. However, he takes a shot from here. However, can he find anyone else in the box? Okay. If you take a look inside the box, let me pick red. If you take a look inside the box, there are two Moroccan players who are near or inside the box, apart from this player right here. So there's one here and there's one here. For South Africa, there are 3 options that Mokoena could aim for. One player here, one player here, one player here.
Okay.
So obviously Morocco are outnumbered in the box. One on the white side who is not being marked at all. So could Mokoena have made a decision to cross the ball into the box for any one of those teammates to attack? With Morocco outnumbered, it would have been a perfect opportunity to get a goal. Instead, he takes a shot, which isn't too bad because he does test the goalkeeper, but there are better opportunities for him. I think my key word this AFCON has been good decision making. My key phrase, has been good decision making. Teams often go for the difficult chances, the long range shots
instead of the glaring options
the obvious chances, the crosses into the box, the passes to teammates in space for higher percentage shots, and it's tended to affect them. So the problem wasn't limited to just South Africa. Morocco had their own problems as well. So they're on the attack with Hakimi, who finds Abdi. Abdi is very, very left-footed, as we can see here. In this situation, he has Nesri
in the box
to his left. To his left.
Okay.
He's right here. Can he make the pass to Nesri? Obviously he can, but I think it's very dangerous. There's no there's no possibility or probability that it will end up with him. And Nesri, there are so many defenders coming back. One might make the tackle. So what is the better option in this case? You take it onto your right foot, and then you take the shot. He has let's go here. He has so much time, so much space to put it onto his right foot and take the shot. But as we said, he is very, very left-footed, very hesitant to move onto his right foot and take the shot. And as a player, you need to be able to trust yourself on the other foot in situations like that. Unless you have a left foot like Lionel Messi, you need to train your right foot as well. He clearly hasn't done that. He doesn't trust his right foot enough, so he stays on his left foot until he's crowded out. And then even then, he doesn't take the right foot. Even when he's close to the goalkeeper, he almost tries to toe poke it with his left foot. As we can see here, look. Just move it further a little bit, and you can see that he tries to toe poke it with his left foot, and then it's cleared out for...
So, I mean, that's Adi. He came in, I think he came for Ziyech.
Yes.
And that's position. Would you say, is it down to inexperience? Because, I mean, I look at Ziyech, I think we don't know him for a player who, probably will take up the chances. But in that space, that moment, because you look at what Adi did, he made himself wide.
And I wanted the video to go back a bit because I think there was a point where he could have even taken the shots instead of taking the ball to his right foot again, because a bit backwards.
So that's before he gets into the box?
No, not even here.
Okay, from this side going?
This side.
So this is where he receives the pass from Hakimi.
So he takes a good decision by narrowing the angle, going into the box. You go again. I think at this point he needs to go for goal.
Yes.
And I mean, you look at the player's posture. Yeah, because he has the ball on his left.
You are left-footed.
Yeah.
Balance.
So we saw in a similar position on the other side.
Yeah, he should go for goal from here.
What's his name? The Angolan striker.
That's Mabululu.
Mabululu, yeah. He was in a similar position, maybe a little further out. Yeah. But he was able to angle himself and get the kill on the ball. Not every player can manage it, but you'd expect your left-footed player to be able to at least
force a save,
take a shot, and find, a killer into this area. Might even decide to confuse the goalkeeper, go for a close range shot, the first post shot. He didn't try any of that, kept hold of the ball, bad decision making. Eventually he's crowded out by the defender and eventually the goalkeeper who approaches.
Comes out and makes
Kudu's goal that he scored against Egypt, was he not in the same area? The second goal.
It was a similar.
He decided to
go for the
He got the luck of the deflection and it went past Shenawi for the goal.
But I mean, those are some of the chances that cost Morocco because, like we said, like Edwin said, you look at the first half, the XG for both teams were not too good. And like he said, both teams were a bit careful in terms of, especially in the final third, chance creation wise, they were doing it. But that final player to put the ball at the back of the net, I don't know.
I think in games like this, if I'm on the other half and I watch opponents make chances like this, you go into momentum. And as I said earlier in my submission, that the more the game travels away from the first minutes, closer to the 90 minutes, it travels away from Morocco and it puts pressure on the players. So now, if you are not careful, you struggle to make proper decisions. And once it goes in that area, South Africa becomes the better team. And for me, in this competition, the African Cup of Nations, one thing that you also need is your ability to convert the chances you create, because the chances doesn't come as often, because the game is a bit more physical, played in the midfield. So the least counter break you get, you need to make good use of it.
And speaking of that, it reminds me about Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. When I watched that game, I mean, Senegal got lots of chances. They get to the final third and they seem lost. Let me just bring you in on what Morocco did. I don't know, because like I was saying, you look at Adi and you look at that space he got. He puts the ball at the back of the net. That could change the complexion of the game.
He had another opportunity like that to either swing the ball into the box or to attempt a shot with his weaker right foot. Because at the end of the day, there is enough tape for teams to game plan for games, because you've already played 3 games in the group stages, so they know the profile of the players going into a round of 16 stage, and they knew that Hakim Ziyech was likely not to play in this game, so the direct replacement will be Adli, and so they will definitely game plan for him, and they will know that once he gets the ball, he'll move it onto his left foot, and so you just show him onto the outside.
Make the angle a bit difficult
for him. So you force him onto his weaker foot, which is his right foot, and force him to do something that he isn't known for or isn't comfortable with. And if he can pull it off, fine. Then you have done your job. It's just that the attacker has done a terrific job, and it's basically attack beating offense, offense beating defense. There's nothing you can do about it. There are some goals you concede. No matter how brilliant the goalkeeper is, he can't do anything about it. And so South Africa did their job very well. The defense did their job very well. Even when that channel opened up for him to give that pass to Enesri, they quickly closed it down and forced him to use his weaker foot. And so it was a good defensive display by South Africa. And little wonder Rowan Williams, their goalkeeper, he has 3 clean sheets in this tournament. And it's down to defensive plays like that. And Ahmed Adli should have done better. And unfortunately, he didn't. And it's one of those situations where you look back and regret. Because
so that has cost
Morocco had
plays,
some decent opportunities in that first half.
I don't. What's next on Is it still with Morocco?
No, this time we are moving to South Africa, their first goal. So in the second half, there were lots of chances. They started moving the ball a little quicker, one-touch passing. And obviously, we've all seen Magopa's great finish. Over here, I think I'd like to point out a few defensive errors from Morocco in this situation.
Yeah.
So right here, this is Mazouari.
Okay.
And here is Roman Saiz. These two are in good position to take on their men. Mazouari is behind the South African attacker, so obviously he's not going to be beating or run in behind. So he's got that area covered. As the pass is played into Magopa, watch as the pass is played into Magopa. Roman Saiz makes a critical error of trying to play offside. As a defender, you do not ever try to play offside unless you know that your teammates are coming with you.
Okay.
If you do that, you risk leaving someone behind.
So it should be in sync with the other players too.
You have to be in sync. You have to be in constant communication as a defensive team. He wasn't. He decided to step up without ensuring that Mazouari had done the same.
Yeah.
Mazouari played Magopa onside, as you can see from the line. He's clearly on. And Magopa has a clear run in on goal. Tough task to finish, but he does it really, really well. There was a slight confusion about whether he was offside, but we'll see from subsequent angle that he was right in line with Mazouari, who didn't move as Roman Saiz moved. And once Roman Saiz moves here, once he moves
so that's
forward,
another angle of it.
That's another angle.
Yeah.
So over here, he has him covered. He could keep up with him if the pass is played. Magopa is not the quickest player anyway. But the moment he steps out of line to play that offside trap, the moment he steps up, you can tell that.
So you can see Mazouari's hands playing
him on
Magopa onside. Okay.
So we don't have the lines here, but VAR drew the lines. We saw that he was onside. But once Saiz steps up, once he gives up that extra yard, there's no way he's catching up to Magopa, who gets the shots in on goal. And South Africa have a lead that's it will come to be very important as the game goes on. So a very good finish.
But somebody would say, do you think Bruno could have done
yes, I was about to say that. There was no point in him coming
Exactly, because look, you have Saiz covering Magopa, so I think you should just stick to your place.
Very acute angle. You can take it back. Can you take it back?
Yes. We go back.
Look, okay.
And then we play it.
Yes.
Let's go a little further back.
Yeah, so I think we can, before the ball gets to...
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at where he is.
So the distance between...
Yeah.
There's so much space for Bruno.
And Saiz forced him out wide.
Saiz was able to force him out wide.
Yes.
Because obviously Magopa is not the quickest player.
Yes.
But if you are Bruno, if you are taking a look
at this point,
you see
space.
Magopa well ahead, a little ahead of your defense. Are you not going to panic and say, make the decision
so probably
to
just
come out?
react a bit quicker.
I understand why he did make the decision.
Because of space, you know.
But if we play it a little further on.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. At this point, why do you come out? Because if you stay on your line, he's not going to beat you from that angle.
I think Edwin is making a point that he's seen the damage, he's seen what is coming. So he needs to come out and make it tighter for him.
So you come out, then you backtrack.
No, that's the worst thing for a goalkeeper to
backtrack.
do. You do not backtrack. Once you come out, you commit to it. Make sure that the angle is big. If you backtrack, the moment you backtrack, you make it easier. There's no way you are able to pinpoint where exactly in the goal you are going to be. So once you come out, you have to commit to it. Make sure the angle is big. If you start backing up, spaces start opening. Bigger spaces start opening for the attacker to take advantage of.
But from that angle,
from
the
this
shot
angle,
he took, if let's say Bono was, let's say here, if he had backtracked and he had come, let's say here, he was around this spot. From the shot he took, from the angle he took the shot from, there was no way he was going to beat Bono. That's my point.
So, so it's more like Bono coming out, making the angle a bit tighter for Magopa.
No, for me, he shouldn't have come out.
Yeah.
Roman Saiz made enough of a recovery to force him out wide and make the angle very tight for him. So even if he had just come out, okay, you commit the initial mistake, but you decide to backtrack.
Yeah. And that's not good.
Backtracking would have brought him somewhere here. outside his central spot in the post. It would have brought him somewhere here.
You wanted him to come
out,
here.
but you made a mistake by coming out. So, okay, you've recognized your mistake, then you backtrack.
Yeah.
Coming out. He came out to close the gap, but the South African striker took a touch. That took him away from.
Exactly. And that's my whole point. The touch that he
So
took. If he was here,
you wanted him in this kind of position.
Yeah, to stick
somewhere
to his position,
here.
Yeah.
that shot is definitely no beating Bono.
You see, at this point, okay, now pause it here.
Yes.
So let's watch it from this side.
At this point,
Every
every goalkeeper
is
coming out.
But
Because
look at the distance from here to here. It's too wide.
no, you see,
No, but he gets into the box
you
before
see
Bono
the
comes
striker.
out
If
again.
the striker touched the
Yeah,
ball into the box, he would have gotten a one-on-one
Look at
to
the distance
score.
from here to here. It's too wide.
Well, I
No,
can
see,
understand.
it's too wide.
I mean, Edwin, I can understand Yao's points
too wide.
because
I understand.
Yeah.
your
No, I
point
understand.
as well.
This here to
So
here.
at this point, you felt he should have still stayed on the line
Stay on the line.
where the ball was.
Yes.
so
but he made a mistake.
so means that allow Saiz to do the covering.
To do the
just stay
covering.
on the line when he
Stay
gets
on the
then.
line.
okay.
No, at this point, he has beaten. You see, it's the South African. Let's not forget this. One, the South African touch was bad. So if he had missed the goal, it would have been a bad touch from the striker.
And even it made the angle a bit difficult.
difficult for himself because at this point he has you see, pause it here. At this point, he has beaten all the the defenders.
Bruno goes forward. Once he starts tracking back, Magopa can easily take a shot.
He can
in
easily
this
just score
direction.
from there. Just
and it's difficult.
just
for
put the ball in the
goalkeepers
net.
to
Just
save
pass
balls
it into
when
the
they are
net.
backing when they are backing up.
Backtracking.
The moment Bruno starts backing up, Magopa takes a shot and it enters the net.
he can just pass
There's
it
no
into
way
the
the
net.
there's no way the goalkeeper
Okay,
gets
so
down.
you
quickly enough to
continue.
save that.
You continue, and let's see where he takes the shot. I mean, this angle. You get it? This angle.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This angle. If he had stayed here, there was no way Magopa is going to beat him.
No.
Well,
you see,
so I get your point. So it means that Bono needs to take a large chunk of the blame.
Yes.
For coming out.
Two things. He came out. His timing was wrong by coming out.
Okay.
His decision to come out was wrong.
So would you not say so? Probably
No,
that's
I-
down to
I
communication because I
personally-
think Bono sees Saiz covering Magopa, but then decides to come out,
Yeah,
and
no,
then
I
it's too unsure.
if you take it back here, this is how I feel. I feel
Further back.
yes, further back when he received the pass.
The offside thing.
No, from here. At this point, when he received the pass,
Yes.
at this point, go again a bit.
A bit further. Okay.
See, at this point, he has beaten the defenders.
He's beating the defenders. That's
So,
what the goalkeeper
He has
does.
beaten the defenders.
Yes.
It's more of the South African striker making an error that looked as if the goalkeeper made a poor decision by coming out. Assuming he took the touch and faced the goalkeeper one-on-one, he would have made a save. But he took a touch that took the ball away.
Yes.
And at that point, you can't blame the goalkeeper for covering the space for his centre backs. Because the centre backs were out of play.
Yes. And for me, the breakdown in communication started right from the get-go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
for that
the
one,
pass
yeah.
got to Magopa.
Magopa. Because this is clearly something that they've rehearsed in training. That when you see a situation build up like that with South Africa's 1-2 passing, you step up from your defensive point.
Okay.
And that's exactly what Saiz did.
Yeah.
So it's clear that Mazraoui was sleeping on the job. He didn't read the play from Saiz because they should have stepped up in sync. But Saiz did the right thing by stepping up.
But I look at Mazraoui where his position. I think he should be able to sense the danger because he has his.
Yes, he's
facing,
seen Saiz
So
and
I
he's
think
seen the whole play
Mazraoui's
come
reaction
before him.
to is not too good. It's not too good. But I mean that's
But from this angle.
so it's an entire defensive setup gone wrong.
Yes, and I do accept that Bruno deserves some blame. If you are coming out, you come out committed. You
yes.
do not
Full out.
hesitate.
Yeah.
No, he hesitated in
He
one
came
of
a
these
bit and
moments.
went away. Yeah.
So
From
if
there.
you're coming out, you come out as quickly as you can. He didn't do that because he was in two minds. Look, he hesitates, he shuffles to his right before he ultimately takes the decision to come forward. Once he made up his mind to go forward and stuck with it, he's making that save. He's narrowing the angle for Magopa. He doesn't do that. He's not committed to coming out, and obviously,
I mean, this conversation will go on and on, but I think the Moroccans themselves will look at this and I think they'll have different perspectives as to how this. But like I said, it's an entire defensive setup gone wrong. Yes, because look, if you look at, I look at where Mazraoui is standing. I think if you want to be in tandem with Saiz,
Yes.
you need to be, because you are watching Saiz, who is also looking to cover my
That's how the Moroccans play.
Yeah.
That's how they play, especially when they are playing against a team that they are dominating possession against. They step up and they press high up the pitch, and they leave a lot of space behind. And that's why in the lead up to the game, I pointed out that for South Africa to win this game or stand a chance of winning the game, they would have to do a good job of playing out from the back, which is something they didn't do against Mali, because Morocco pressed them high up the pitch. And they'll have to do a good job of counter-attacking, not to get caught on the offside trap. Yeah. So that's what Morocco does. And for Mazraoui to see the play ahead of him,
and not react,
and not do the right thing by moving in sync with Romain Saiz, because Romain Saiz just reacted. He didn't think twice about stepping up. Yeah. It's something that they do in training. It's something that they do in games. I've seen it so many times. They do it in games.
And
so it's down to Mazraoui not reading the play.
I'm not too sure which game. I think it was against Tanzania also. There was one game they drew. I mean, the Moroccans. Yeah. And it was glaring. And
was it the DRC game?
I think so.
It was the DRC game.
I just told somebody that, look, this Moroccan team is not invincible. They've got flaws. Because I saw that in that game. And the Congolese team did not take, because you can understand that a team that hasn't probably got so much chances, they were a bit pragmatic in terms of how they wanted to do things. So they just settled for a draw. But clearly, in the knockout stage, you cannot do that. You have to take up your chances. But Edwin, I think we need to move on to
this is where Morocco thought they were going to get back into the game.
Okay.
They got a penalty.
So that's the penalty?
Yes, it came from a very good move. We saw Mokoena in the first half for South Africa. In this position, he took a shot. In this position, Morocco, Hakimi puts the ball into the back post for his teammates to put the ball across. And that is the kind of decision-making that's going to get you goals. You know, in that position, you have an overload in the box. You have to take advantage of it. Make sure you hit your man. And then the ball is put back across. And Morocco gets a penalty after Mvala. I don't know what he was doing defensively, but he had his,
but even at this point, he would have followed to score.
Yeah, it was probably heading on target. Whether Ronald Williams would have reacted quickly enough to get the save in. Oh no, was there any doubts that this was a penalty?
I don't think so.
No,
absolutely not.
Yeah, you have your arms in an unnatural position.
Yeah, very unnatural position. The ball strikes him right on the arm, and it's a penalty.
Prevented a clear goal scoring.
And just after yesterday, we went on the show, we discussed the techniques of the penalties. I mean, we saw Achraf Hakimi flapping his lines again for Morocco.
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about was the influence of other players around the penalty taker.
Okay.
Even before the penalty is taken. And we don't get to see it here, but South Africa employed a very good strategy. Try and distract Hakimi as much as possible.
Wow.
Stand in front of the ball, goalkeeper comes out, players come out, try and put him off as much as possible. You never know, you could get into the player's head and then he's going to miss it. And as this was a high pressure penalty, obviously, Hakimi definitely had something in his head, decided to go straight and high, which is the perfect penalty.
Yeah.
Only thing is he didn't keep it low enough. He didn't get lucky. It's a high reward penalty because goalkeepers hardly ever save shots that high.
Yeah.
And goalkeepers hardly ever stand straight.
Yeah, stay in that position.
And stay in that position. But when you do so, you have to keep it down. High risk, high reward. And Hakimi obviously missed it.
So before y'all comes in, so that's two chances gone begging. The one from Adli and this, and you see, if Morocco converted these chances, it means that they would have
this in particular.
Exactly, the penalty would have changed the entirety of the game, and then Hakimi just
especially with 6 minutes left in the game.
You don't do that.
Yes, and if you could go back to that Hakimi, the replay of the penalty.
The replay.
The penalty kick. The penalty kick.
From Hakimi.
Just close to the end.
Okay.
You see, you see him as soon as he kicks the ball. You see a bit of turf also come off.
Yeah.
Because he does. Yes.
Yeah. So you're saying a bit
of turf.
He picks up the.
Yeah. Because I think he went a little bit too under the ball. Yeah. So that's what took the ball a bit too high and it clipped off the crossbar because normally,
Yes.
you see the bit of turf that comes off the pitch.
Yeah. So it's more like he's trying to dink it.
Yes, he dug a little bit too low.
Yeah.
He dug a little bit too low, and that's what skied the ball.
More like he's taking a cross instead of a penalty.
Yes. That's why he skied the ball, and it ended up clipping the crossbar. Other than that, it would have rifled straight underneath the crossbar into the top corner of the net. But he went a little bit too low, and he just took the ball high.
Yeah, so that's a good point you've raised. So technique-wise, Edwin, and he's mentioned that technique, because you look at the way he tried to kick the ball.
Everything was on point up until that kick.
Usually, what you see players do is when they put the ball down, they step around the penalty spot to ensure that the ground is level.
It's okay.
So that there is no chance of them kicking anything other than the ball itself. Usually it works. This time it didn't for Hakimi, and he lifts it over.
But I like the reaction of his players, the way they quickly
picked him up.
Picked him up and told him it's not over yet.
I mean,
but they themselves are a little bit at fault. When the penalty was initially given, you could tell that the players were already celebrating even before the penalty had been taken.
But when you get a penalty at this point...
No, you do not do that.
You need to bury it before.
Yes, it puts way too much pressure on the penalty taker as well. Knowing that his teammates are already celebrating a goal that they think will be, instead of one that's
an imaginary.
But I have this strange theory. I think the striker should have followed up, just kick the ball into the net to get a goal.
No, it hit the crossbar and went.
Like when the ball touched for the penalty. Because when the ball touched the South African defender's arm, the ball just fell.
So you're saying he should have followed up?
Yeah, just put the ball in the net and they would take a goal.
You see, the thing was, as soon as they realized the ball took a touch,
they stopped playing, and that's my problem with them.
See, there was one player who just rushed.
Just go and just touch the ball into the net.
Yeah.
And then he raised his hand, penalty.
I think he did actually follow up. He did follow up. He actually went towards the ball.
You see?
Once he saw that it was on the angle, it was on the angle. That's when they decided to just ask for the penalty from the referee, swamp the referee.
But anyway.
Well, I mean, so two chances gone begging for Morocco, and like I said, especially like y'all said, if Hakimi converted that penalty, the storyline would have been different. But I mean, you don't do that at the knockout stage. You need to make things, should I say, perfect.
If you are playing football, if you are doing
I understand you,
you can't be perfect.
You can't be perfect.
But you just need to take advantage of your opportunities. You can't be perfect. You look at Ivory Coast, for instance, Cote d'Ivoire, for instance.
Yeah.
They weren't perfect. They were far from perfect.
Okay.
They were far from perfect. And they needed that late save in extra time from Fofana, their goalkeeper, to prevent Sadio Mane from getting that goal. So you don't need to be perfect. You just need to ensure that when the timing is right, you get it done.
Execute it.
You execute. Okay. And unfortunately for Morocco, they didn't.
You just need to take your moments. And in football, you don't do ifs. If the Black Stars defended a bit better, I wouldn't have been home. So you can't do if in football. You just have to.
If Richard Ofori didn't touch that ball,
this is what I've.
You can't do ifs.
This is what I realized with the AFCON here. So when you watch the group stage matches and you watch the matches in the round of 16, one thing I've realized that is very different from what I saw in the group stages. You find teams who are very all out. They come in, all guns blazing, throw a lot of players out front. But in the round of 16, like Edwin said, especially with this game, the first half, the XG was really low. So you can tell that both teams were
not playing to score.
A bit laid back, trying to see, okay, what have you got up your sleeves? If it doesn't work, second half we go. Because we saw all the action in the second half from this game in particular. The Equatorial Guinea versus Guinea, it was a similar thing. The first half was a bit boring. The second half, it changed a bit. Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, same. I mean,
and I think it's also because you don't really get enough data on the players that play in those games. So coaches tend to use the first 15 minutes, the first 45 minutes to
have a fair idea of the
opponent and also know their strengths and their weaknesses. And that's why substitutions are always important. Because if you watch the Ivorians game, for instance, all the players that had impact on their team, on the game, was players that came off the bench. And the AFCON has always been like that. If you can have players that can walk into their team and make changes, if you have a coach who can read the opponent, because the African football is in a way that you don't get enough data on African players. You don't get enough data on the opponents you are going to play. You only know them based on the matches they've played in the group stages. And sometimes coaches even play based on the opponent they are going to play. So you don't know the kind of team that will show up when you are going to face them. So you just have to use the first 15 minutes. So you can't go all out. You have to give at least the respect to the opponent also because it's a knockout game. You go all out. You get scored, someone goes sits at the back, and you can't even score.
Okay,
coaching
hold on. Let me just come to Edwin. If you have just something final for us, then we just go for a quick break and then come back.
Yeah, a couple of things really quickly. There was a really strange situation in the game.
So this is the
process.
Okay.
Yeah. Amrabat. Yeah. Okay.
A really strange situation where Amrabat was sent off, second yellow card, but then the referee checked VAR, called Amrabat back, rescinded the yellow card and gave him a straight red card. Some people are wondering why is that very important. Had he got a second yellow card, he misses 2 games for Morocco. Because he gets a straight red card, he misses 3 games now, which means he gets to miss a few World Cup qualifiers, which puts the Morocco's opponents at a bit of an advantage for
very
those
tight
games.
situation.
Puts Morocco at a disadvantage, obviously. So that's it. Just to clarify that. And finally, South Africa's second goal.
Oh boy!
How it came about. Wonderful free kick. Wonderful free kick.
Yeah, expertly taken.
But could Bono have done better? Let's take a look at it. From here, it looks like a brilliant free kick. From the second angle, I'd like to point something really quickly out to our viewers. So it's a long way out. Mokoena definitely has the quality to take the shots, the effort. But Bono is in a good position to make that save, and he unfortunately doesn't. Look, right here, you can see it.
So you're checking his steps?
His steps.
Okay.
Just if he can't even see the ball.
He can't even see the ball, but that's
so that's the wall not doing him too much.
The wall itself has its own problems, but we'll focus on Bono, the goalkeeper. He takes a step to the right, and then he hesitates before taking extra steps, even though he's seen that the ball is heading this way. Usually, the goalkeeper takes a step just to check where the ball is heading, which direction it's heading, and then they take extra steps into that direction. Once he takes the first step, he hesitates, and then takes another step, hesitates before actually moving to the right-hand side to make the save, which meant he didn't have enough time to get to the ball before it's put in. So maybe you could put Bono at fault, but that's still a wonderful free kick from Mokoena.
I mean, this game had everything. It had a drama, it had a twist and turns. So South Africa finally making it through to the quarterfinals. It's a big win for the Bafana. Let's see how they fare in the last 8. You still watch